Hey, today is March 4th. We worked on Carter's forehand, his backhand. We did a little bit of net feeding. Spent about 10 minutes at the very end on his serve. Got a helicopter flying over there. All right, so on the forehand, we emphasize the movement in between hitting shots and then recovering at a very high speed. He has this slow, lumbering sort of tempo that he follows when he recovers, and also right before he hits, and in certain parts of his stroke, like at the, say in position 2, he has sort of this slow, lumbering tempo. We need the tempo to be at a higher, say a higher rev range, his body, moving at working at a higher rev. We also worked on spin on the backhand, and this was a bit of a challenge for him because he has this real smoothness. All right, let's pretend you're hitting over there. All right, over there. All right, so take it back, go like backhand. So we're going to talk about the spin part. I held the racket like this, right, and I had him do it abbreviated first like this, just for him to get a feel for like getting this down like this. He, aggressively, like getting it down, because he's very smooth and gentle. But this smooth and gentle action is not really conducive to aggressive spin. Is what we're going to try and give him from the very beginning. All right. Now, it's not necessarily. It's going to feel like a very wild type of uncontrolled motion to him, but in the bigger scheme of things, it is just an average high level sort of motion that players would do. Good players do to make spin on the ball. You'll see this rhythmic sort of like. Right on the backhand side as they do it, all right. Or they'll at the very last second they'll have this very like aggressive sort of flick. It won't look like it's aggressive when they do it, just because it's very subtle. But the speed changes are very high, right before contact point. So this is more of a bigger sort of like that sort of motion. Okay, so. Had him reach back and then just aggressively just throw the racket down. Try to get him to use loose grips. Talk to him about when getting down to this position, like talked about stabbing, get this stabbing, right? Holding this up like this. And we talked about getting this position that what is actually happening is the left hand is going underneath the right hand, right? And not the right hand is going above the left hand to make this position change, all right? All right, we were able to get a few shots where we had quite a bit of a spin. It's still the rhythmic sort of like motion in the stroke was not there, right? But he did a few. Emphasize really works on him, trying to get him to like bend the knees to the point. Show me bend your knees, right? Ready position. Till you what? Till you what? Hate your life. Yeah, hate your life. All right. Now he tends to come up to way too quickly, just like he did right there. Right? I literally will tell you. I bet you I'll tell you. Get into aggressive pro stance, and as we stand here and watch him, he will slowly start to rise up. Now he's focused right now, but the second I change the subject, right, he won't stay in that position. Right? See if you can while I talk the rest of it. So on the forehand side, we worked on him throwing the racket back. And we talked about float, all right? Okay, stop it, because I can see you're concentrating so hard you may not listen to a word I'm saying too. Okay, so float, what float is, that's what float is, right? Go ahead, throw it back, make this big L. Today we have trouble reaching this far back, right? So force him to make float, and float is just a racket. Literally will have a stop, but it's a floating type of motion right out here for a moment. Okay, that was able to just to make that, and it's longer than usual than say what I do with other players for him, and he was able to do it pretty well. So that was good that he was able to do it. Okay, worked a little bit also on the spin, the action of the racket. He likes to go ahead and just drop it, and it's gentle down here, and then he comes up. Right, he makes spin, but it's just average spin, but it's reliable spin. Right, we want him to make potentially very aggressive spin. Right, okay. Serve. Right, so serve. We videotaped the serve. I'll take a look at that. We talked very briefly. So what we're going to do on your serve first, the motions. Everything is too close in the way he lifts and the way he tosses. So we're going to spread everything out. Show me what that means. Yeah, like that. We're gonna do it like that. Okay. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do down together, up together, basically, right? It's like a USPTA instruction verbiage, I think. I don't know. All right, but we're gonna raise the hands together and the racket, the toss arm and the racket arm together for a moment to make this T position. Show me. All right, we don't just spread everything out. We also talked about keeping the lift when he lifts to keep the handle. Go ahead, put it down. Keep the handle. Remember, there's a wall, like an imaginary wall here in front, like that. As he lifts, he's going to keep the racket handle, right? The racket handle on this side of his body until that point right there, and then we'll address the rest of it. We don't worry about the top part here at all. We just this right here, just making the T and tossing, time getting the toss and the lifting arm synchronized the right way is. We only worked it very briefly, so we'll continue working. Okay, I think that's it. Yeah. All right. Next time, I think what we'll try to do is do a little more net feeding. We'll continue to work on his weight transfer. We're still gonna have to do like a neutral stance, bring the right leg completely around before we can start addressing semi-open stance with him. Because we do semi-open stance with him, he's gonna get falling back. He literally would take swings and fall back on his heels. His balance and that's probably because of his stroke. So I think that's about it, right? Maybe we'll take a look at volleys too. All right. We'll see you next time.